Imagine searching for a monster hiding in the dark, a giant so powerful it pulls entire worlds out of place. For nearly a century, astronomers chased this shadow, convinced that a massive planet lay hidden at the edge of our solar system. But when they finally arrived at the target, they didn't find a monster. They found a tiny, frozen heart beating in the silence of the abyss. This is the story of Pluto, the world we discovered by mistake, loved for a lifetime, and eventually cast out into the cold.
Hello and welcome. If you're new here, welcome to Amazing 5.
Our journey doesn't actually begin with Pluto, but with a cosmic mystery that started over 150 years ago. In 1781, astronomers discovered Uranus, the seventh planet from the Sun. But there was a problem. Uranus wasn't following the rules. According to Isaac Newton's laws of gravity, Uranus should have been in one spot, but it kept drifting slightly off course. Experts were baffled. They realized that something further out in the dark must be pulling on Uranus, tugging it like a leashed dog. This led to the discovery of Neptune in 1846. It was a massive win for science. But even with Neptune accounted for, Uranus was still wobbling. The math still didn't add up. Astronomers became obsessed with a new phantom, Planet X. They believed a giant, heavy world, perhaps many times larger than Earth, was still waiting to be found. Enter Percival Lowell, a wealthy American astronomer with a dream. He built a state-of-the-art observatory in Arizona specifically to hunt down Planet X. He spent years staring into the void, mapping the stars, and running complex calculations. But space is vast and unforgiving. In 1916, Lowell passed away, his dream unfulfilled. The monster remained hidden. 13 years later, the search fell into the hands of a 23-year-old farm boy named Clyde Tombaugh. Clyde's job was grueling. He had to take photos of the same patch of sky days apart and use a machine called a blink comparator to see if any tiny dot had moved. On February 18th, 1930, after months of exhausting work, he saw it. A tiny speck of light had shifted its position. The world went wild. Planet X had been found. But what should they call it? The answer came from an unexpected place, an 11-year-old British girl named Venetia Burney. She suggested Pluto, after the Roman god of the underworld who lived in the dark, distant reaches. It was perfect. Pluto was welcomed into the family as our 9th planet. However, as the decades passed and our technology improved, a strange thing started to happen. Pluto began to shrink. In 1930, astronomers thought Pluto might be as big as Earth. By 1948, new math suggested it was only the size of Mars. By 1978, after discovering Pluto's moon, Charon, we finally got its true weight. The results were shocking. Pluto wasn't a giant, it was tiny. It was smaller than our own moon. It was so light that there was no way it could be responsible for the wobble in Uranus's orbit. So, if Pluto wasn't pulling on Uranus, what was? The answer arrived in 1989 via the Voyager 2 spacecraft. As it flew past Neptune, it measured the planet's mass with incredible precision. It turns out our original weight for Neptune was off by about 0.5%. When scientists plugged the correct weight of Neptune into their equations, the wobble in Uranus disappeared. There was no Planet X. Pluto's discovery wasn't a triumph of mathematical prediction. It was a lucky accident. We found it while looking for a monster that didn't even exist. Now, the debate turned fierce. If Pluto was just a tiny ball of ice and rock, did it really belong with giants like Jupiter and Saturn? In the early 2000s, telescopes found other bodies beyond Neptune, like Eris, which was even heavier than Pluto. Pluto lives in the Kuiper belt, a junkyard of millions of icy rocks and comets. It isn't the boss of its orbit, it's just another traveler. With a heavy heart, the scientific community demoted Pluto to a dwarf planet. But Pluto had one last surprise for us. In 2015, NASA's New Horizons spacecraft finally reached the distant world after a 9-year journey. Instead of a boring, cratered rock, we saw a vibrant, colorful world of red, white, and blue. Most famously, we saw a massive nitrogen ice glacier shaped exactly like a perfect heart. We found ice volcanoes that erupt with slush instead of fire and signs of a hidden ocean deep beneath its crust. Pluto may have lost its title as a major planet, but it proved that even the smallest misfits have stories to tell. It stands as the king of the Kuiper Belt, a reminder that in science, even our mistakes can lead us to something beautiful. Pluto didn't change, only our understanding of it did. And out there in the cold, dark silence, its heart continues to beat for anyone brave enough to look.